How do you not let things get in the way of your happiness? All of us at times, right? Happiness can seem elusive or that it's contingent upon a particular set of circumstances perfectly aligning for us to have it. Happiness is one of these things that we all desire, and yet, how do we find it? And it's not like I'm saying we have to be happy all the time, but what does it take? Kind of how do we figure out what happiness means for our lives? There are several philosophers and several perspectives on this, but here are a couple. Aristotle says happiness depends upon ourselves. The Dalai Lama says happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. So there really is a sense, and we could read through more about how it's internal. Like we figure it out for ourselves, and it's not contingent upon the situation that we find ourselves facing, but instead it's our perspectives, how we think, our words, our reactions, how we kind of come at things. And there's another perspective that's given to us out of the book of James, and it's a helpful piece of wisdom as we go through, all right, what does it take for us to cultivate happiness in our lives? And it says in chapter 1, no one who is tested should say, God is tempting me. This is because God is not tempted by any form of evil, nor does he tempt anyone. Everyone is tempted by their own cravings. They are lured away and enticed by them. All right, so notice that line. Nor does God tempt anyone. Everyone is tempted by their own cravings. We can't blame God for the things that we struggle with. We cannot blame God for our situations, just as we can't blame anyone else for things that are happening, or, well, I can't be happy because that's an internal thing. And so here it's moving us into a sense of responsibility, of how do we take responsibility for our happiness, for the ways that we cultivate it, the ways that we are able to create it through our words, our actions, our thought processes, and the perspectives that we hold about situations. When something happens outside of ourselves, we always have an opportunity to react to it or not. And how do we react in such a way that it doesn't impact our peace, our happiness? The philosopher and emperor Marcus Aurelius says, we should discipline ourselves in small things, and from these progress to things of greater value. And that word discipline is about practice. Right here it means practice. Like, what are we practicing? Disciplining ourselves in doing, so that, you know what, we can start small. We can start small in cultivating that happiness and trying to think through, all right, what is it about the words that I have, my perspectives? Does it cultivate happiness, or is it getting in the way of it? And then we are able to move to bigger things. And so a few pieces here of wisdom for us as we try to figure out, what does it mean for us to find happiness, to create happiness? What does it mean when, you know what, it not all is good, right? How do we not let things get in the way of our happiness? So how will you be challenged in the way you cultivate it for yourself today? Have a good one.